I gave you the pitch earlier on, so you pretty much know what I'll be talking about. As I mentioned earlier, I would like to start with talking a bit about first the market, some of the really exciting numbers in the market, and following that, what I mentioned, scary numbers in the market. Looking at the mobile games business, it has grown really a lot. From this map, you should maybe look at two things. North America combined with Western Europe makes it in excess of a $5 billion annual business. The market is very homogeneous, so you pretty much have the same ranking lists, top lists in the US and in Europe. As you can see, the largest market in the world is in Asia Pacific, and that region is really drilled down to three markets: China, Japan, and then South Korea, of course, is really big. It's quite a small country with some 40 million inhabitants, but you can still make $1 million per day in South Korea, which is quite amazing. If I move forward, it's been growing for many years and is still a growing business. Earlier this week, I read a report that in 2018 the market would grow to 45 billion, which would mean that mobile games is going to be bigger than console games in just a few years. So, of course, numbers like this makes companies like Sanoma really go that, hey, we have to do something in this space. But then, looking at a couple of other numbers, with some reality to this, 5 promilles of all the games generate 40% of all the revenues of what you saw on the previous slides. And that is even concentrated only to some 30 publishers, 50% of them account for that. So it's only in the hands of a few. I wouldn't say that the development cost of mobile games has risen that much. It's still rising, but what's really getting out of hand is user acquisition cost. Depending on the market, it's around $3 for one install, which is crazy, because it's only about the top 20 that makes more than $3 per install. So that's quite difficult math. Good. So what is Sanoma doing to capitalize on this market and still be responsible towards the shareholders and not taking too much risk? Number one, Sanoma is, we are not game developers. I myself have been in the business for more than 15 years, but mostly in the marketing side, or then as CEO of various startup companies. So we are only focusing on three things: the core design of the game, the core mechanic actually, what we call the core loop of the game, as well as the progression. And then we work with seasoned veterans studios to actually develop the game. Connect this.
And you kind of expect it works.
Okay. So that's the mic. Right. As you've seen, it's about the Donald Duck characters. The first iteration was quite for a really young audience. It was like Pikku Kakkonen. What we tried to skew this towards a somewhat older demographic, making it look a bit like Marvelish with superheroes. And really, where is it positioned on the market? Between two really exciting games: Angry Birds Epic, battle game, which is a casual game, and then on the other side, a hardcore game called Hearthstone, which is a huge success on PC. And we're focusing on the mid-core segment. So It's lighter than Hearthstone, but more in-depth than Angry Birds, and it's a very interesting segment because here's are really the big spenders of in-app purchases. If I just go quickly through basically the core loop, you have the headquarters, and you have a progression map. You can see this is how you track the position, and then you have the card battle. You get 5 cards, and you select 3 of those, and there are 3 types of cards: attack cards, defense cards, and so-called off cards, which will have an effect on either the defense or attack cards. And really, how do we make money? You do the battles, you lose so-called hit points, as you see up there in the UX. You buy medikits and revive potions. This will be filled in 30-minute intervals, and if you don't want to wait, you can of course open up the wallet and buy in-game currency, and you will get it instantly. The last aspect of the game is really the character progression. You buy cards, which is also tied into the monetization of the game. We have some 150 different cards that you then unlock when you proceed in the game and earn currency, or then if you wait again, you can buy them. We are quite close to the so-called soft launch. We are releasing the game in Australia and New Zealand end of next month, around midsummer. We want to keep it there for some 3 months to get some numbers, in particular on the onboarding and the retention. Work over the summer hard just to adjust these retention numbers, and really only after that we're really starting to focus on monetization, because if onboarding and retention is broken, then it doesn't make any sense to even try to monetize it. You have to keep the people coming back to the game and staying there in the game. Good. I think how long has it?
You have 2 minutes left.
Okay. As I said, really exciting. We've learned a lot during this process. Even if we're quite excited about the position, etc., we still understand that this is the first game. We're dealing with an external partner. It's something innovative, and working with Disney. But still, things are looking quite good. We've been doing focus group tests, and we have 73% said that they would recommend the game, and 67% said that they would play it the next day, which is actually a really good number. If we see 40% day 1 retention, that would be really good. Good. Maybe I leave the last 90 seconds to questions. Anyone else? Yes.
Why Donald Duck from all the character voices?
Sorry?
Why Donald Duck specific as the main character, the lead character?
Why Donald Duck is the main character?
Why you have chosen Donald Duck?
Well, we have a long history of Donald Duck in Finland and at Sanoma. It's one of the reasons why we are working with Disney is that we get a known IP. Of course, there's a new Star Wars movie and there's a Marvel movie coming out. But we're not going to pay millions of dollars for minimum guarantees. So we want to take somewhat known. I mean, Donald Duck honestly isn't that big in the UK or Spain. It's big in Italy, in the Nordics, and in Germany. But the other aspect is that it's not only the IP that we get from Disney. They have the Disney network in their games, and we get the marketing support in the Disney channels, TV. So we actually get hard marketing support from. So it's a combination of Donald Duck and Disney. So quite selected. Yes.
Mia Koskinen from Lionbridge. Why did you choose those 2 countries for your soft launch?
It's somewhat tied to the rights of the game. Usually you go for Canada or Australia and New Zealand, but this time we then opted for New Zealand. And we wanted a market where Donald Duck is not known. Okay. Right, thank you.
So your reason for the success seems to be cooperation with developer, cooperation with Disney, publishing. You have known brand. You are working with a mid-core game. You are free to play, and you have very tested game mechanics and gameplay, and you are using analytics and things like that. So these seem to be the cornerstones of your game plan.
You summarized it really well. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I hope you the best of the talk.
We need that. Thanks.